All right, welcome. Today we are going to deconstruct one of the most critical pieces of the puzzle when it comes to restoring your federal firearm rights. I'm talking about the 925C submission packet. You know, getting this part right, it's the foundation for literally everything else.
And let's be real for a second. Trying to navigate the federal system, it can feel like you're lost in a total maze, right? Whether you're dealing with the DOJ or trying to find a document in some dusty federal court archive, it is just overwhelming. And for so many people, the biggest question is just, where do I even begin?
Well, the answer, your starting point, is right here. It all comes down to building a rock-solid submission packet. I want you to think of it like an architectural blueprint for your entire case. If you get the blueprint right, you've built a foundation that can actually stand firm.
Okay, so let's jump right into the first part of this blueprint. This section is all about the official paper trail, the stuff that proves your past. And listen, this part is non-negotiable. It's the hard evidence.
All right, first up is something called the certified judgment. And this is super important. We're not just talking about any old photocopy you can make at home. A certified copy, that's the real deal, folks. It comes straight from the court, and it has an official seal or a stamp on it. That little seal is everything. It's the court's way of saying, yep, this is authentic. Without it, it's pretty much just a piece of paper.
Here's how to think about it. This document, it's the official story of your case. From the court's point of view, it isn't your side of the story, it isn't anyone else's interpretation. It's the final, unchangeable word from the court itself. And that's exactly why the government demands it in its certified form. It removes all doubt. No questions asked.
So, when it comes to this paper trail, you've got two essential documents that work together as a team. First, the certified judgment. That tells them what the sentence was. Then, you've got your probation or parole discharge papers. That's the proof that you've completed everything, including any supervision. See how they fit? Together, they paint the full picture. This case is officially done and dusted.
Okay, moving on to the next section of our blueprint. This part shifts the focus. It's all about proving who you are now and showing that you've maintained a clean record ever since your case was closed.
So this part is basically a three-point check to establish your current identity. First, you need a valid government-issued ID. Easy enough, right? Second, you have to have a signed consent form for a background check. That's basically you giving them the green light to look into your record. And finally, and this one is huge, a police clearance letter. You get this from your local PD, and it shows you've been a law-abiding citizen in your community. That's some powerful proof right there.
You know, so far, everything we've talked about has been about official kind of cold documents. But this packet isn't just a stack of paperwork. This next section, this is where you get to add the human element. It's your chance to tell your story, to show your reform, and really come alive on the page.
And you're going to tell that story using two really powerful tools. First is your personal affidavit. That's you, in your own words, your statement. And second, you've got character letters. This is where you bring in other people's voices to back you up, people who can speak to the person you are today.
Now, that personal affidavit, it is incredibly important. This is your shot. It's where you, in your own words, talk about your past, take full responsibility, no excuses, and then, and this is the most crucial part, you detail the actual steps you've taken to reform and rehabilitate yourself. And when we talk about those character references, the number matters. You've got to pay attention here. The absolute minimum requirement is 3. 3! You can always add more for sure, but you cannot have fewer than 3 if you want to meet the standard. Okay, I need you to listen very closely to this next part because these little details can literally make or break your entire application. Every single character letter, it has to be signed, it has to be dated, and it has to include contact info for the person who wrote it. If you miss even one of those things, that letter, as powerful as it might be, could just get tossed aside, completely ignored. Hey, just a quick pause. This video is brought to you by Legal Gangsta. If you want to get in front of the 25 million who qualify to restore their federal gun rights, you can get your workbook today by going to their website. You can reach them at 713-714-4022 or check them out online at legal-gangster.com. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Let's talk about the final section. These are the administrative bits and pieces that tie the whole packet together and get it ready to be sent off.
So when it comes to the fee, you've got two options. It's one or the other. Path 1, you include a receipt or some kind of confirmation showing you've paid the application fee. Path 2, if you can't pay the fee, you have to submit the official forms for a fee waiver, along with your justification. But you absolutely have to include one of these two things. No skipping this part. And finally,
the big one, the central piece that holds this entire blueprint together. It's the 925C application form itself. This thing has to be filled out completely, and I mean completely, and accurately. Don't leave any blanks. Think of this form as the spine of your entire submission packet. It's what gives it structure.
So let's do a quick recap of the blueprint we just walked through, okay? First, we had the official paper trail, right? That's all about proving your past. Then we moved on to identity and clearance, which is about proving who you are today. After that, we talked about your personal story, adding that crucial human element. And finally, we wrapped it all up with the application and fees. That's the whole shebang. And once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Legal Gangsta. Seriously, if you're one of the 25 million people who could qualify to restore their federal rights, their workbook is an amazing resource. To find out more, just visit their website or give them a call. We really appreciate them for supporting this content. So there you have it. We've laid out all the pieces. You now have the complete blueprint for building a strong submission packet. The only question left is, what's your next move? Which piece of this puzzle are you going to start working on first?
And hey, if you want some clear step-by-step guidance to help you through this whole process, head on over to LegalGangster.com. And just a final reminder, as always, everything we've talked about here is for educational purposes only. This is not legal advice.